Thanks for joining me for this month's issue of Chalk and Pixels. Today I'm going to give you a preview of some of the training sessions we're going to offer in the upcoming CTL hours. The first training session is called What Can You Do with Prezi? Prezi is an online presentation tool which has a lot of 3D and many interactive effects. Prezi has been commonly referred to as PowerPoint on steroids, if that tells you anything about the tool. The next training session I'm going to tell you about is called Creating an ebook with Lodestar. An ebook is just as it sounds, an electronic book. Ebooks can be viewed from phones, iPads, computers, basically any electronic device. So without further ado, here's a presentation I made using Prezi, and it's on current events. Check this out. Now here's what an opening screen of a Prezi presentation looks like. Now I'll go to the next page and you'll see how interactive this is. It zoomed in on one of the slides, and now I'll move to the next slide. You see it kind of does a 3D motion when it moves through the presentation. Now you can see here that I can also zoom in even further on each slide. Now I can zoom in on each one of these pictures within that slide. I can move side to side, zooming in on the other pictures. Now I can zoom back out, and now move to the next slide. Even within slides, I can even embed YouTube videos, and you can see what happens here as I play this. Now I could pause it and then just back out of that video and return to the slide. Now I'll move to the next slide where I can actually embed PDFs. Now I'll zoom in there, and I can even zoom in further to read it. Now I'll zoom out, and I'll show you my last slide. Here's a different kind of interaction that I've created where I can actually just move side to side and slide through the top websites. Well, I think Prezi is a pretty neat tool, and I hope I see you at the next Prezi training. Here's an example of what a student's going to see if you create your content using an ebook from Lodestar. I'll go into my content section, and I'm viewing this from an iPad, and I'm going to scroll down to the ebook content item. It's going to open up right within a browser, which is a cool thing about this. This isn't that eye-appealing, but it does open up within browsers as well as in e-readers. The cool thing is this little icon in the upper left corner. That's the ebook. When I click on that, it asks me if I want to open it up in iBooks. And yes, I do. It will automatically import into my bookshelf, and now I no longer need an internet connection to view this content. I can scroll through the book just like a regular book, and I can also take notes. I can save these notes, and they will automatically be taken into my table of contents. When I go into my table of contents, I can jump throughout the chapters to go right to where I want to read. I can also go to my notes section and jump right back to where I left off and took those notes. Now if I go back to my library, that is my ebook that I just downloaded from D2L that contains all the content that I created myself. I think this is a pretty cool technology, and I think you all can find some uses for it. So I hope to see you at the next How to Create an Ebook Using Lodestar training. Thanks for joining me.